Trust the Lord. Trust the Lord. Trust the Lord. Trust the Lord. Trust the Lord.
Travis Wayne Goodso, I'm back. But before I upload the other two I did this morning, we'll add a third one to the mix today. And it's about the positive, negative attitude. Or the glass half full, half empty, and all of those psychological manipulation crap stuff. It's the equivalent of flipping a coin. But in this particular case, you rig the coin to be positive or negative. It was, Spider-Man one. MJ, the No Way Home. Well, I thank them for doing a multi-universe thing to explain why there's different Spider-Men. They need to do that with Batman. But, and Superman. Yeah. But, the Flash sort of did it. They had the old Flash appear on the new Flash on CW, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, I digress. It's where you give yourself a false hope or a false depression. It's a false dichotomy. There's more emotional choices than just being happy or sad, positive or negative. It's an emotional manipulation, and it's psychological based because it was the Mormon Stanley Smith Stevens who, back during World War II era, living here and born and raised in Utah, and then did his work out in Colorado until he died in the 70s, I believe. But he used scientific measurement category systems for the classification of plants and other tangible biological life forms, and then turned it into outward appearance behavior. That's where the con is because it's not the causal of the mind, why the mind is thinking and behaving as it is outwardly. It's more of symptom management that is done to such people. And I would hate to have medical doctors do symptom management. You go in for, a busted arm, and he psychoanalyzes you rather than doing x-rays to put a cast on your arm. But they are trying to get away from mental illness now. It used to be mentally retarded, and now people are saying, well, that's cruel and mean, and only because bullies took it to the extreme. They're still doing it to mental illness, or a mental patient. Ta-da! Well, I guess we got to change the name of mentally ill now. It's all a fraud because they don't have a cause for the problem, and they're told that they're not supposed to diagnose somebody with a mental illness if there's an external cause from the environment that's involved. So, for example, your mom dies. You're supposed to be sad. It's not chronic depression. Dear God, you better put you on drugs for the rest of your life and see a therapist forever. It's stupid. And you see that. They take advantage of trauma. They're the first responders to a school shooting. Keep them away from the kids. And so the government and the news and business are all permeated with this one way or the other, my way or the highway, positive, negative, half full, half empty, and it's all wrong. And so with religion, heaven and hell. Yeah. It's that believing in Jesus or you're not believing in Jesus. And that's where the danger comes in, is because it's a fallacious argument in the first place. It's giving people a false hope in what Roman Emperor Constantine created, as they were originally, the Gospels were originally Jewish Messianic literature. And instead, Christians came in with Constantine. Jesus, that character from those books, is now the Christ. And it's literal history. It's no longer Messianic literature. And these locations are the actual locations. And the dates are the actual dates. Though there's some confusion. Especially when you throw Mormons into the mix. Because Mormons are denouncing the Book of Mormon and choosing the Doctrine and Covenants over the Book of Mormon date. 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem in 597 BCE. That's 4 CE. 8 April, 4 CE. I've done the videos. It has other meaning though. But yeah, the Doctrine and Covenants, they're all now claiming with Christians 1 CE. And Herod died in 7 BCE. But then you get people who have the faith in Jesus or the positive mental attitude to deny all things negative, to deny science and truth. In order for your positive faith in Jesus to prevail, so that you don't ever have a faith crisis or get depressed and have to go see a psychologist. See, the thing is, psychology used to be anti-religion because religion is a pseudoscience, and so the pseudoscience of psychology was saying that religion is a pseudoscience as well. Pot calling the kettle purple. Yes, they were black, weren't they? And that's why the pot called the kettle black. Has nothing to do with skin color, I hope. But yeah, it's sad now that psychologists are now embracing people's religious feelings, just as they are doing. They used to be anti-gay in the 80s. They were involved with conversion therapy. You know, it's not churches, pastors who are pulling the switch on the electrical outlet to zap their brains. It was psychologists who were behind all this. And now, all of a sudden, psychologists are telling people to embrace being gay. And they're adding more characters. Oh, you like having sex with robots? Great, we have a category for you now. That's the non-dichotomous categorization that Stanley Smith Stevens developed as well. So you got the dichotomous, and then you have the subdichotomous, or the non-dichotomous categorizations after that. And so it's the spectrum that's involved, and it's been used to attack America. If you're familiar with the Facebook scandal in 2016 election, where Facebook was selling our data to Steve Bannon's Cambridge Analytica, and then they sold it to Russia, and then Russia then bought advertising based on the data provided in Facebook for each of us. So they tailored their advertising to each of our feeds. And it was through the apps where they ask you some questions to find out which Disney princess you are. For example, I was Pocahontas. I wanted to be Belle, but, you know, I didn't answer the right questions, or I didn't give the right answers to the questions that were given. You only get 4, and so, yeah, it's all a scam. Because the answers to those questions that I was asked weren't the answers that I wanted to give. And when I was in grade school in Placentia, California, Sierra Vista Elementary, our teacher one day does a color test for each of us. It was to tell us what our behavior patterns are. And so we had white, blue, yellow, and red. They've changed them over time. I guess they want to fool people. Oh no, it's not that one. It's now this. We have different colors now. And I would take it, and then I would take it again and again, and I kept fluctuating between white and blue, or blue-white mix. That were about half and half. And as a kid, here I was doing scientific research before we were doing science fair projects in high school, and already establishing that this is a con, and I could never answer the questions in a manner which would designate me as yellow or red. Other certain characters that I already knew were yellow or red. But I realized that they were trying to tell me who I am and who I should be and how I should act. That's the danger in the positive, negative attitudes, believing or non-believing attitudes for religion, and then the non-dichotomous placing you in a specific category by which they can then label you, by which they can then treat you, and when you self-fulfill this prophecy, they then say, see, it wasn't us, it's not our self-fulfilling prophecy, you are the one, and it's gaslighting. It's no different than the fortune tellers in Louisiana or wherever else they are, the 1-800 numbers, get your fortune. They know how to play it, and it's all a con, it's all a scam. So don't fall for it. Don't do the positive, don't send me positive vibes, don't send me good feelings, don't send me thoughts and prayers, don't do it to anybody. All of that is wrong thinking. You're supposed to use the scientific process, which is what I was doing as a kid, naturally. And it's you run tests, develop theories to be tested, and then confirmed, you're good. Keep testing though, but if it doesn't work out, don't keep holding on to that seed. Get rid of the seed. It's not going to grow. It's not going to produce fruit. Get rid of it. It's bad. And that's the whole point of this, is that you will never find out the cause. You'll never know what's wrong with you. And the psychologist is telling you you've got something wrong. They'll never tell you what it is, but you have to keep seeing them because it's helping. The drugs are helping. See, when you're taking the drugs, you're fine. When you're needing to take more, you're not fine because you're an addict now. We've turned you into an addict. So dangerous to our national security. But, so, yeah, and for the sign in the heavens that's going on right now, I'm running a test. I'm going to see if the sign in the heavens and the likeness of things on the earth in Revelation 12:1 from the Joseph Smith translation is going to be applicable to other signs in the heavens, or if it's 3 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. There were a whole bunch of other signs and people began to stop believing in them. We'll find out. It was a pretty cool sign that's going on right now. Can't see it, it's daytime now, but yeah, the high priest symbol of Aquarius, because the Egyptian character for a high priest is a man pouring water, Aquarius, and it's designated by 12 stars. It's all Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi chapter 1. I can't remember the verse. It's after Jesus comes from outer space to Lehi in his dream, and he's got 12 stars following him. Yeah, 12 high priests, and with Jupiter as the sun god, Amen, Emmanuel, sun at noonday. So yeah, it's psychologists perpetuate the problems of people. So it's fun when a Tony Soprano comes into a therapist. And the other movies, Lethal Weapon, Terminator, oh, so beautiful. They just love making fun of the therapist. And yet they're doing it with the extreme of something that's not real in reality. And they're doing it in the movie form. But yeah, it's always good fun to see psychologists get their due.